Welcome to the Business Spotlight. My name is Andrew Szabo, the marketing chef, and I'm standing in for Patrick Dewar today. In the last 15 years, technology companies, big and small, have come and gone. Some have survived. A few have thrived. Tonight we have George Gundling, CEO of SAS Software Incorporated, in the studio to share some of their secrets of how they have developed and innovated for their clients in the last 15 years. Welcome to the studio, George. It's great to have you with us. So tell us about SSI and the history of SSI.
Well, to start with, SSI has been around for quite a while. It was started in 1999 by some Oracle database consultants. And initially, it was purely to do Oracle outsourcing and Oracle consulting. And over the years, the company has changed and continues to change today.
Now, how has it evolved in the last 14 plus years?
Well, first, it started going from the Oracle world, it morphed into managed services and fractional outsourcing. So what happened was it became a company that was more focused at the small to mid-sized businesses than it was focused at the large companies that use Oracle databases. And what has happened during that period of time was in providing services to companies, we found out that one of the needs the companies were looking for was software development, custom software solutions. And that enabled us to move into custom software development.
You took over as president in 2008. How have you redirected the company?
Since taking over, I took into account a lot of my experiences and backgrounds, and looking to be a successful company, the first thing I did was made sure I brought in a strong leadership team. So that was an exciting part. I've been able to recruit a strong team that has many years of experience. The second piece I looked at was in the market. I thought that there was a credible opportunity for software development. And that's custom software development. Every company has unique needs. They're a unique business. So they have some unique demands for custom software development. So we began to provide that for our customers. And also what's happened is with the emergence of cloud computing and the emergence also of mobile technologies and the communications capabilities there, we looked at it as a tremendous opportunity to provide what we call a SaaS software for companies and commercial products that we develop.
Now, SaaS software, people are hearing a lot of that in the marketplace now. What exactly is SaaS, George?
SaaS really is an acronym that stands for software as a service. But it really goes into a lot of different arenas. First, it's a service to companies. So in the previous days, a company would purchase software, their IT organization would install the software, they'd also install upgrades and so forth. When you move to SaaS, the software as a service, you're really running the software in the cloud. So a company that uses the product doesn't need the infrastructure to be able to install it, so little need for the IT staff to do any work. Hence, a company can be quickly up and running with a SaaS product. The other piece that is important is, as a service, a company can install and have that system up and running. And the second piece is, with those products, they're able to really be able to use the product without a large upfront investment. Mm-hmm. So there's much less risk to those customers because they're paying a monthly fee for that software, and that monthly fee can be canceled if the software is not meeting the business needs.
Sure. Now, custom software, SaaS application development, a lot of companies out there in the Dallas-Fort Worth, all over the country. Why should somebody be looking at SSI?
Well, there's a couple of things. I think the first thing is an incredible team of experts that we use. With hundreds of years of software development, we've been able to implement processes for both onshore and offshore development to ensure the success of the development. The second piece is that for companies wanting to do software, It's not that they can hire 2 or 3 people to go develop a software product, a custom product for it. It takes a lot of different skills, from the architecture, the design, to the databases, to the actual development, to the QA, throughout the whole process. So that is a key for us. So we've worked with a lot of companies. Metro PCS was an early adopter of ours that used us as their software development. They were looking to be a low-cost provider of, wireless services. So what we did was demonstrate to them that we could provide them a low-cost solution for development of their critical network and operations applications.
Can you give us an example of, another example, you mentioned obviously Metro PCS, but give us another example of how SaaS application, sounds like it can actually radically transform a business. And a lot of businesses out there, I'm sure, are looking for revenue opportunities or competitive advantage. How can a SaaS application change your business?
Well, one of the things a SaaS application can do is have a company seeing immediate results. One of the products we've developed is a patient call management system. We did it in conjunction with a partner. They're the company that took the product to market. But what we did was we developed the application starting with purely the requirements that they had. So we designed and architected the system for them. That system is running from a single location and now running for over 500 hospitals across the U.S. What was impactful to these companies and customers in the hospital space was this was really aimed at helping to manage the patients after discharge from the hospital to prevent readmittance to the hospital.
That's a big thing in healthcare.
It's a huge thing right now, and taking care of those patients outside the hospital was make sure they're following their care plans so that they don't end up readmitted to the hospital. What was great about the system from a SaaS perspective is we were able to implement hundreds of hospitals very rapidly. And again, they were paying a certain amount per month, so it was not a huge investment. Their IT staffs were inundated with implementing things like their electronic medical record system, so they didn't have a lot of time. So if it was a system that they had to install, it would have been on their backlog. In this case, we were able to get them up and running. And what was really, I think we learned from it, was we were also able to respond quickly to the client's needs. So the product running in one location, we would get the feedback from the clients of what they would like to see in the product that wasn't currently in it, from reports, from trends, and so forth. So we were able to continually update that product so that the customer saw we were fast to react and continually improving that product.
Now, what's the scale of this deployment for this application? How many hospitals is running the SaaS application?
It's currently running in about one out of every 10 hospitals across the United States. So it has been significant.
That's significant.
And it's also led us into a lot more in the healthcare space of developing SaaS products that have similar capabilities and can also really grow in the market rapidly.
And I understand this application has changed not only healthcare, but it has actually changed the business of your partner there. How did it change their business?
Well, what they've been able to do is demonstrate that they were not a software company. So they had tried to develop different products internally without success. Those products ended up being huge burdens on them for trying to support those products. And this product enabled them to have a product developed by experts that really met the business needs, but also enabled them to quickly grow with a monthly recurring revenue stream that also enabled to invest back into the product and continually improve that product.
Interesting. So it sounds like we've got this consulting company that was able to add value not only to its clients, but also to the value to its own company by creating subscription-based recurring revenue volume.
Absolutely.
Which creates a huge value to the company.
It does add a lot of value to the companies, and that's, as we're working with other companies in the healthcare space, we're really focused at finding the companies that understand the market, understand those requirements in the market. What I say is, at SSI, we know how to develop software. We're very good at developing software, but we don't know the business side. So what's really important to us is to work with customers and partners that can really lay out the requirements of what the opportunity is in the space. So what we work with them about is to demonstrate to them, here's the capabilities of what you can do with a cloud-based hosted system or a new mobile system that, you know, just a few short years ago did not have the capabilities to be able to provide that to companies. So it's been exciting for them, and they're now able to really to communicate to us what the product needs to do, what are the requirements, and then we do the architecture, the design, the development, hand in hand with the partners throughout. And they then can take that product to market.
Interesting. Well, before we move on from healthcare, it's such a big part of our economy. What else are you doing in the healthcare software development field?
We have an exciting project right now. We have multiple projects, but one of the very exciting ones is in the home healthcare space. Home healthcare is exploding because of the need to take care of patients, and really the costs that to take care of them in the hospital is not feasible. So that is a huge growing business, and there's about 24,000 home healthcare agencies across the U.S. We partner with experts in that industry to develop a mobile-based system that enables the nurses and therapists and physicians all to have access to a system that they can not only be compliant with all the Medicare and insurance regulations, they can track everything that's going on with the patient, and it really is meeting an objective for really for Medicare and for healthcare these days of really clear communications of what's going on with that patient, so that you can see what the objectives are for the patients to improve their health care and how they're being addressed and how they're actually improving with that health care that's being given to them in the home.
Sounds like there's going to be benefits from this application both for patients as well as these home health care agencies. What are the benefits to each of those two parties?
Well, I think what's really important is, number one, is how do we better take care of the patients?
Sure.
And what the system does is helps to set what those objectives are and to track those milestones. So if a patient has, needs to be able to bathe themselves, for example, that's the objective of what the therapist in the home health care agency is doing, is to improve their care so they can take care of themselves. What this system will allow them to do is to really focus on that patient care. And it's no longer just, I went to the person's house and I checked off a box. Now it's going to that patient's home, verifying you're at the patient's home. You can take a signature of the patient to show you were there. You have the ability to really with GPS to know that they were there, and then to take all the notes that right there of what you've done with the patient and how they're doing against their objectives. So it's really important for the patient. For the home health agency, what enables them to do is to get clarity of what they're going to be paid for their service and what that care plan is that they need to really address, which is how many times and how often a nurse needs to go to the house for things like wound care, how often does a physical therapist need to go to the home for wound care, and what are the additional supplies and durable medical equipment that's really needed for those patients to really take care of them.
So it sounds like that's going to increase their profitability too, because they can get reimbursed. There's a lot of paperwork, bureaucracy in the healthcare system.
At the end of the day, that is just a most critical thing, is to align what the home healthcare agency is being paid for and how they're being paid for that service, and then to track what services they're providing so they know what they're being paid for and that they're providing the services that are agreed to by Medicare or by the insurance agencies.
Now, I know a lot of technology companies in this area and all over the country. What makes SSI's approach different when it comes to SaaS application development and software application development?
You know, I've been in IT for a long time, and one of the things that I've learned over the years, we've built great systems. When I was with Frito-Lay, when I was with EDS before that, we built some award-winning systems. Business intelligence systems for Frito-Lay, sales data warehousing systems, executive information systems, all kinds of systems that were groundbreaking. But what was the common thread was really having the business experts that could define what the system needed to do, what the value to the business was at the end of the day. Having those experts outline why you're building the system, how it needs to be built to bring value to the customer is critical. So everything we work with and the companies we work with are the people that are the experts in the industry. And most software companies, or a lot of software companies, think of themselves as technology, and they overdo it on the technology side. At the end of the day, it's a business.
Right.
And what's really important for us is to understand that business and what those needs are. I tell people that patient call management system, if we build it, we'd take a shot at it as a company, but number one, it wouldn't have had near the functionality that we needed to have in the system, and we wouldn't have been able to sell it because we weren't the experts in the industry. So what we want to do is be the company behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things we've done as we rebranded the company is powered by SSI is SSI developing the solutions, managing the solutions that other companies are taking those solutions to market. Mm-hmm. So what we're always looking for is for companies that see an opportunity out there, either for their company and a solution they need to have, whether it's business process optimization or business intelligence, for them to work with us and define what that problem is. And the other is for companies that are out there that are working in the healthcare and other industries that see a need for a product to fit a very niche requirement of the market. And then they can define it, we can develop it, and the partnership can be very exciting.
Super. George, you mentioned business intelligence. That's a word that we've all heard a lot out in the marketplace. What does that mean these days? How has it changed in recent years?
Well, I think business intelligence is a little bit overused these days. It's been around forever. When I was a developer on sales systems for Frito-Lay, and we had all those reports that went to the sales organization, we were providing them business intelligence, okay? And over time, what happened was we were able to move that and actually have that business intelligence provided to them on a computer. So now it moved from paper to computer that could be updated more rapidly. But what's really happened over time that makes it exciting about business intelligence is the rapid amounts of data that you can now capture means that you can begin looking at things on 10-minute intervals instead of a daily report on how we're doing. We built business intelligence systems in the telecom space that red, yellow, and green lights are going on all the time for what is going on with the network, okay? So companies can respond quickly, not wait to a day later, not wait to a customer call.
So instead of looking backwards, we can now actually look in real time.
And the other piece is what's really, with the mobile development these days, there's two pieces there. The communications capability of the mobile platforms is one, and the second piece is the cost of mobile devices. So we've developed mobile systems that just a few years ago were not feasible, where drivers, where sales organization has access to information immediately so they can react quickly throughout the day instead of waiting to the next day or the next week to change what they're doing.
Can you give us an example of, let's move into that space of mobile applications, business intelligence. That's something I'm sure many viewers are interested in. What is, give us an example of an application you've developed in that space.
I'll tell you, one of the exciting applications we built was for a company called Terra Renewal that's in the oil recycling business and other recycling businesses. What's exciting about it is we build a system that enables them to really optimize their route management, to be able to see demand planning of when they need to go pick up recycled products because it's time for those to be picked up, so they can see when those barrels are near full, so they can just in time go pull that and recycle those goods. What's exciting about it is the product is very sophisticated, but it was developed in 6 months. And it also, for hundreds of drivers using this, it was basically a $50 Android device that is in the hands of all of these drivers, and they love the application. But it's a dual benefit for the drivers as well as the company, because information now is sent back immediately to headquarters. So they're invoicing customers in 1 to 2 days that used to take 7 to 14 days. So it's incredible cash flow benefit to the business. And we developed other mobile products, and we're doing it in the healthcare space. We've done it in the telecom space, but that one with Terra Renewal is, I think, very exciting, because when I was with Frito-Lay years ago, I was involved with the handheld rollout for that company. And just to look at what it took then versus what it takes now, it's incredible. It's really changed, the whole nature of the business.
Interesting. So what we've heard so far, that sounds like businesses can take advantage of some of these changes in technology, whether it comes to mobile applications or these SaaS software as a service. What are the different areas that businesses should be looking at for technology? We've heard obviously about gaining, improving your operations, but what are the different areas that a business out there should be looking at for technology to change their business?
I think what businesses need to look at now is really not really constrain themselves with what technology can't do. What it is what information does anybody in my company need to have at their fingertips to be able to manage the business rapidly and make the right decisions. So that can be anything from an inventory management system, a process management system. It can be for somebody that's out on the line that used to have to go back and look at a terminal screen to be able to look and see what they need to do next. Instead, having the mobile device where they're at that can alert them, and they can make that decision immediately. So it's very exciting to me to see really computing put in the hands of the mobile workforce that wasn't there before.
So I'm hearing it can help you, whether it's internally, it can help you externally with clients, and it can bring up the and also competitive advantage.
Yes, absolutely. And I think what you see with the change in technology there is also the software as a service component, with the ability to develop products now that can get into the hands of individuals very rapidly.
Sure.
So it's a rapid development process. We went through and developed a very sophisticated process that takes us, how do we work with the clients to get the requirements all the way through to the completion of the project, how we shake hands the whole way through to make sure the product at the end is exactly what the client wants to have. And there's going to continue to be products that are currently in the market that are green screen type of old products and so forth that companies are still using, that will be replaced by SaaS products that are running in the cloud, enable companies to not have that complicated, sophisticated IT infrastructure for managing their applications, but instead they can be up and running very rapidly and having a system that's easy to use, so it takes very little training, and they can be using the system within a couple of days instead of going through the whole process to install the system, to have huge training. And I just think it's incredible now with where we're at in the cloud, where we're at with communications capabilities, and where we're at with mobile computing.
It's a very exciting time for businesses right now. So what do you see? You've told us about where we stand today. Maybe you could summarize for our viewers, what do you see today and what do you see for the future, George?
Well, I think things are going to continue to be really enabling companies to use mobile solutions. What's changed is we know it today with our smartphones that we have in place, that we have the capability to do things we could never think of doing just a few years ago. And with that bandwidth that goes to those cell phones or goes to those iPads or goes to those Android devices, it enables us to not have the same level of complexity of having to go somewhere and find the information out. So years ago, we had to go look at the report. Mm-hmm. Then we had to go look at a computer screen. Now
it was a laptop.
Now we look at our iPhone. Yes,
yeah.
it's
now it's a phone, and then now it's, as you said, it's a tablet or a smartphone.
And that's just incredible what it's done. And I think with everyone being very comfortable with really with computers, with smartphones, it's incredible. When we first started developing executive information systems, we had to train the executive staff on how to use a mouse. They did not want to use even a desktop computer. That was beneath them. And if you think about how things have changed over the last 15 years, now they want the information at their fingertips on their phones, so they see what is going on with the business. How's my cash flow? How did I do on receipts today? How's my sales versus last month? How's my sales versus a year ago? How's my profitability today versus what it was a year ago? How's my profitability versus my plan? How can I be ready to address as soon as I see something that's out of line with the business and really be able to attack that rapidly? And that's one of the things we work to do with our company, is to make sure we know that information immediately.
Sure. Well, in summary, it seems that if it's done right, technology can generate one can capitalize on new business opportunities, leverage competitive advantage, as well as dealing with your customers more effectively. What's your last words to share with the audience?
If you see the opportunity out there for commercial products that are a niche product for your industry, whether it be healthcare or whether it be whatever industry you're in, you see firsthand what the needs are. If you see that product and you have the need for that product, there's a good chance that a lot of other customers would have the need for that product. So first, go ahead and contact us and we'll work with you to develop it.
Well, thank you, George. It's been great to have you with us. If you want more information on SSI, go to poweredbyssi, poweredbyssi.com.